In the annals of history, the rendezvous between the Queen and the Kennedys, held at the illustrious Buckingham Palace, outshone even the most dazzling spectacles Hollywood had to offer. This momentous meeting, transpiring in June 1961, featured the convergence of two of the world's most iconic couples, U.S. President John F. Kennedy and his First Lady, Jackie, alongside Queen Elizabeth II and Prince Philip. The sheer glamour radiating from this assembly rivaled the brightest stars of the silver screen, from the likes of Cary Grant and Paul Newman to Natalie Wood and Deborah Kerr. The visit unfolded as part of a broader European tour embarked upon by the Kennedys, riding the wave of optimism that accompanied JFK's election and his inauguration as a youthful president in November 1960. The anticipation and fervor surrounding this visit were unparalleled, marking not only a diplomatic encounter but also the genesis of something truly extraordinary for both the American First Family and the British monarchy. For Elizabeth II and Prince Philip, this marked the commencement of their ascent onto the global stage as bona fide celebrities, a facet of royal life so deeply ingrained today that it's challenging to conceive a time when things were any different. However, the era of unbridled optimism was abruptly curtailed. Exactly 60 years ago, on November 22, 1963, tragedy struck as John Fitzgerald Kennedy fell victim to an assassin's bullet in Dallas. This pivotal moment would usher in a new era, one of profound change, not only for America and its leaders, but also for the British royal family. Their lives would henceforth be cocooned in an impenetrable blanket of security, forever altered by the specter of tragedy. Within the short span of 3 years, the monarchy underwent a metamorphosis. The world had already been captivated by the enchanting Jacqueline Kennedy during their sojourn in Paris, where President Charles de Gaulle hosted them, bestowing a grand dinner at the opulent Palace of Versailles. President Kennedy, ever the wit, humorously declared at a press conference, "I am the man who accompanied Jacqueline Kennedy to Paris." Even on the British front, the intrigue was palpable. Prime Minister Harold Macmillan reportedly praised the First Lady for charming President de Gaulle with her fluent French. A subtle undercurrent of rivalry seemed to surface when the Queen, herself proficient in French, retorted, "Well, we can all do that." This period unfolded against the backdrop of monumental global shifts. Just months prior, in the throes of the Cold War's zenith, Kennedy grappled with the Cuban Missile Crisis, a defining moment in his presidency. The failed Bay of Pigs invasion, orchestrated by his predecessor General Eisenhower, had left a stain on American foreign policy. Kennedy's visit to Europe occurred in the midst of ongoing negotiations for the release of Cuban exiles captured during the Bay of Pigs fiasco. American and British foreign policy grappled not only with the specter of Russia and Cuba, but also with the burgeoning quest for independence among African nations, shaking off the shackles of European empires. Kennedy's landmark foreign policy speech in May 1960 hinted at support for African independence, acknowledging the winds of change sweeping the continent. Harold Macmillan, in a notable address in South Africa 3 months earlier, acknowledged the burgeoning national consciousness, proclaiming the wind of change is blowing through this continent. At the epicenter of this geopolitical maelstrom stood the Queen, overseeing a Commonwealth undergoing rapid transformation. As former colonies opted for independence, she played a pivotal role in maintaining connections through her leadership of the Commonwealth. By the time Kennedy arrived in London, plans were underway for the Queen's visit to Ghana, a republic remaining within the Commonwealth. The impending tour was fraught with challenges, set against a backdrop of civil liberties denial, anti-British sentiments, and the contentious American funding of the Volta Dam project. Kennedy, having met the Queen and witnessed her resolve in insisting on the Ghana tour, threw his support behind the dam project. Little did the world know that the optimism of that moment would soon be eclipsed by the tragedy awaiting the charismatic American president. The Queen and the Kennedys unwittingly became harbingers of an era marked by both glamour and catastrophe, a chapter in history forever etched in the annals of time. In the convivial atmosphere of a June 1961 banquet, Africa and Russia undoubtedly found their way into the conversation, along with lighter topics about the offspring of two prominent couples and their shared passion for horses. Despite presenting Queen Elizabeth with a signed portrait encased in a silver Tiffany frame, adorned with a handwritten message expressing appreciation and esteem, John F. Kennedy failed to thaw the somewhat cool atmosphere that lingered. The tension escalated due to conflicts over the guest list. In 1961, divorce remained a taboo within the royal family, given its historical ramifications, such as Edward VI's abdication in 1936 and the Queen's sister relinquishing her relationship with divorcee group captain Peter Townsend in 1955. The Queen, adamant about upholding these traditions, initially vetoed the inclusion of Jackie Kennedy's divorced sister, Princess Leigh Radziwill, and her thrice-married husband, Prince Stanislaw Radziwill, on the guest list. In a diplomatic compromise, the Queen eventually relented but retaliated by excluding Princess Margaret and Princess Marina, whom Jackie had specifically requested. Jackie later confided to writer Gore Vidal about the Queen's retaliatory actions, stating that the Queen had her revenge by omitting certain guests and including every Commonwealth Minister of Agriculture available. The Queen, presumably briefed about the First Lady's interest in art, offered Jackie a personal tour of Buckingham Palace, showcasing its remarkable art collection. This moment, as depicted in the second episode of The Crown, symbolized a discussion between the Queen and Jackie about the challenges of their public roles. The show suggests that Jackie later criticized the Queen's intelligence and the state of Buckingham Palace at another dinner. Whether entirely fictional or not, this account, if true, showcases the Queen's ability to forgive. The following year, when Jackie visited London again, the Queen extended an invitation for lunch. This meeting wasn't the final encounter between Queen Elizabeth and Jacqueline Kennedy. Deeply affected by the tragic events surrounding JFK's assassination, Queen Elizabeth played a pivotal role in creating a lasting memorial for the young president near Windsor Castle. She gifted the United States an acre of land beside the River Thames at Runnymede, where the Magna Carta was signed in 1215. Designed by landscape artist Gordon Jellicoe, the memorial garden features 47 steps, each representing a year of Kennedy's life, symbolizing human individuality and freedom, concepts that inspired both the Magna Carta and the American Constitution. The opening ceremony in May 1965 brought the Queen together with Mrs. Kennedy and her two children, along with Prince Philip and Robert Kennedy. The impact of JFK's assassination on the royal family extended beyond this memorial. Anxiety about the vulnerability of public figures increased, leading to subtle enhancements in security measures for the royal family during walkabouts and official engagements. In 1964, during the Queen's visit to Canada, heightened security measures were evident, particularly in Quebec, where separatist sentiments were on the rise. Though there were no assassination attempts, the Queen faced boos and cries of "Chez Vaus," the Quebecois words for "go home." Despite the challenges, the Queen remained steadfast in her commitment to being seen and believed, echoing her famous words. However, the tragic death of JFK marked a turning point, signaling a shift in the world and prompting increased security measures for public figures, including the royal family. Dear friend, if you like everything new about the royal family and don't want to miss all the novelties, subscribe to our channel and like it. By doing so, you take part in our development. We work for you.